ॐ हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्यापिहितं मुखं तत्तं पूषणपावृणो सत्यधर्माय दृष्टये. I welcome everybody to the Swadhyaya Gyan Yajna program by Academy of Yoga and Oriental Study, Bhubaneswar. This is a lecture series on Yogasutra by Dr. Indulata Das, Director, Academy of Yoga and Oriental Study, Bhubaneswar. Today, the topic is Maharsi Patanjali, his identity. It is lecture number 1 of Yogasutra and lecture number 1 of Introduction to Yogasutra. Now Patanjali, who is Patanjali? Patanjali is a very famous name in Indian tradition of knowledge. In Indian knowledge tradition, Patanjali is a very famous name. He is a great sage and a spiritual doyen. He gave yoga the status of an authentic and complete system of spiritual science. Yoga secured a formal place among Saddarshan, the major 6 orthodox systems of Indian philosophy. Now, what is the derivation of the word Patanjali? How the word Patanjali has been derived? Name Patanjali is given because of many reasons. Number 1. Apatan Anjalayah Namasya Taya Asme Jasme Sa Patanjali. He to whom obeisance was paid by folded hands. People paid respect to him with folded hands. Therefore, he was known as Patanjali. Number 2. Derivation. Apatat Anjalyang Jahasa Patanjali. He who fell down or he who was put on the palm. When Patanjali was a baby, he was put on the palm of his guru Katyayana. Katyayana was a great grammarian. So Patanjali, when he was a boy, he was a small child, he was put on the palms of his guru Katyayana by his parents for education. Guru Katyayana fostered and educated Patanjali. Therefore, he is known as Patanjali. Number 3 derivation. Jat patan abhavat anjalito asau tat patanjali riti prathamanam. That means he fell down from the palm of his mother. Therefore, he was known as Patanjali. This is in Patanjali Charitam. The story is like this. Lord Sesanaga wanted to be born as human being and found pious woman ascetic Gonika. Lord Sesanaga wanted to assume human form and he looked for a mother and he found the pious woman ascetic Gonika who was doing penance to get a child, noble child. When she was offering water to sun god, Lord Sesanaga placed himself on her palm, and when she offered the water, Lord Sesanaga fell down on the ground with the water. Because he fell down from the palms of the woman ascetic Gonika, therefore he was known as Patanjali. Now Patanjali, whether he is an individual or a title, there are various views. Number 1 view is that there is only one Patanjali. He is confused to be many because of his contribution to several disciplines separately. Number 2 view, there are many Patanjalis. And each Patanjali serving to conserve, expand and transmit a branch of knowledge pertaining to Vedic culture. And yoga comes under Vedic culture. Vedic culture. Number 3 view. He is not an individual but a title. Patanjali is not an individual, not the name of an individual, but he is a title only. Patanjali is a title only. Like Sankaracharya tradition, there might be a complete tradition named Patanjali. This is also one of the views. Now, how many Patanjalis were there? There is proof that there were 5 or more Patanjalis in total. Professor Kedarnath Tripathi says, there were 5 Patanjalis. In his book Sankhya Yoga Kosa Bhumika, he says that there were 5 Patanjalis. And Professor Udayveer Shastri, a great scholar, he says that there were 7 Patanjalis in his book Sankhya Darshan Ka Itihas. He says that there were 7 Patanjalis. Now let us see the 5 Patanjalis. Patanjali number 1, he was a Vedic seer. Number 2, Patanjali, the author of Paramartha Sara, etc. Number 3, Patanjali, the expert of Rasayana Shastra. Then number 4, Patanjali, the author of Kosa. Then number 5, Patanjali, the author of Yogasutra. And we find this in the Sankhya Yoga Kosa Bhumika by Professor Kedarnath Tripathi. Now 7 Patanjalis. This is the view of Professor Udayveer Shastri. 1 Patanjali is author of Yogasutra. 2nd Patanjali is author of Mahabhasya. 3rd Patanjali is writer of Nidana Sutra or Chanda Vichitti. Then number 4 Patanjali is writer of Paramartha Sara. Number 5, the scholar of Sankhya. Number 6, Patanjali related to Ayurveda, identified with Charaka. Number 7, writer of Kosa Grantha. This is in Sankhya Darshan Ka Itihas by Professor Udayveer Shastri. Now, there is when we analyze the two views, we find that there is no contradiction between the two views, because more than 1 Patanjali counted by Professor Udayveer Shastri are considered to be one by Dr. Kedarnath Shastri only. Now Patanjali, we come to Patanjali, who is the author of Yogasutra. This Patanjali is the philosophical and spiritual doyen. He is the author of Yogasutra. He is reticent about his own identity. He has not told anything about his identity in Yogasutra. He has not given any clue about his identity in his book Yogasutra. He is revered as the incarnation of Sesanaga by others. He has not written anything about himself in his book. Now the tradition that he is the incarnation of Sesanaga. We find this in Patanjali Charitam like this. Once Lord Vishnu in his Yoga Nidra saw Tandava dance of Lord Shiva. Due to Samadhi, his weight became heavier and intolerable for Sesanaga. Lord Vishnu sleeps on Sesanaga. So because his weight became heavier, it was intolerable for Sesanaga. Why it was heavier? Because he was seeing Tandava dance of Lord Shiva in his Samadhi, in his Yoga Nidra. So the writing this sloka is like this: Kadachid asadita yoga nidram abhuta purbena vapur garima adhakhyajang bodham adakshino bhut varjanka bhuta padinama adhisaha. This is Patanjali Charita. Knowing the reason, later Sesanaga was tempted to see Tandava directly. He asked Lord Vishnu, Sesanaga asked Lord Vishnu why he became so heavy. Then he came to know that because Lord Vishnu was seeing the dance of the Tandava dance of Lord Shiva, therefore he became very heavy. So knowing the reason, later Sesanaga was tempted to see the Tandava Nritya directly, not indirectly. So this sloka is Tathapi Passeyo Maisang Nruttang Prasideti Sachatang Gajache. He said, permit me to see the dance directly. So he was permitted by Lord Vishnu. He assumed human form and placed himself on the palm of Gonika when she was offering water to sun god. So Sesanaga, he was permitted to see the dance directly. Then he has to do penance for that, and therefore he has to assume human form. He went to the world, came down to the earth, and he wanted a lady who could become his mother, and he found Gonika, who was offering water to sun god. पन्नगाधिपतिर अर्क नियुक्तः प्रविश्य जनितुमञ्जलि गर्भम. He placed himself on the palms of Gonika. And Gonika accepted the child as her son and named him Patanjali, since he fell down from her palm with water. So this is the story in Patanjali Charita, which is absolutely fictional. Then we come to a strong traditional belief that three Patanjalis are one and the same person. Who are these three Patanjali? Patanjali, the author of Yogasutra, Patanjali, the author of Mahabhasya, and Patanjali, Charaka of Charaka Samhita is also Patanjali. So these three persons are one and same. This is a strong traditional belief. Why this belief? And based on this belief, these slokas are written. There is a popular sloka like this: Yogena chittasya padena vachang malang sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopa karotang pravarang muninang patanjaling pranjalirana tasme. This is a popular sloka. The original source is not known. The meaning of this sloka is like this: I bow down to great seer Patanjali, who removed impurity from the mind, speech and body by yoga, grammar and medicine. Here, nowhere it is written that Patanjali is the writer of Yogasutra. Then we come to Chakrapani, who is the commentator of Charaka Samhita. He writes, Patanjala Mahabhasya Charaka Pratisanskrute Manavakaya Dosayanang Hantre Hipataye Namaha. That means I bow down to the serpent king who destroyed the impurities of mind, speech and body by the Patanjala, Mahabhasya and Charaka Samhita. Here also he doesn't directly write that he is the writer of Yogasutra. Then we come to Bhartruhari. Bhartruhari writes, Kaya Pak Buddhi Visaya Je Malaha Samavastitaha Chikitsa Lakshana Dhyatma Sastra Istesang Visuddhaya. That means the impurities related to body, speech and buddhi are purified by Chikitsa Shastra, Lakshana Shastra and Adhyatma Shastra. Here also there is no mention that there is no mention of Patanjali also, and there is no mention that Patanjali wrote Patanjali wrote Yogasutra. The same Patanjali is the writer of Yogasutra. Now we come to Patanjali Charitam. Sutrani Yogasastre Vaidyaka Sastre cha Bhartikani Tataha Krutva Patanjali Munihi Pracharayamasa Jagaditam Trato. The meaning is, says Patanjali wrote the Yoga Shastra, he wrote the sutras in Yoga Shastra, the Ayurveda Shastra and the grammar, and spread it in order to save the world. So Sutrani Yoga Shastra Vaidyaka Shastra cha Bhartikani. Here he has written that he wrote Yoga Shastra, and which Yoga Shastra it is also not clear. And moreover, Patanjali Charitam is a fiction only. Now we come to Nagas Bhatta. Taduktam Charake Patanjalina. It is said by Patanjali in Charaka Samhita. That means in Charaka Samhita, Charaka is also known as Patanjali. Another name of Charaka is Patanjali. But here it is not clear that he is the same Patanjali or Charaka is the same Patanjali who is the writer of Yoga Sutra. Then again, Iti Charake Patanjali in Charaka Samhita. So these are written by Nagas Bhatta. And Iti Charake Patanjali means Patanjali in Charaka Samhita says. Here also he said that in Charaka Samhita, Patanjali says, that means Charaka Patanjali is another name of Charaka, and it is also not written clearly that he is the same Patanjali who wrote Yogasutra. Now Bhojadeva. Bhojadeva writes, Bak cheto vapusang malaha phanabrutang bharteva jeno dhrutam. That means he who removed the impurities of speech, mind and body like the serpent king did. This is Raja Martanda Bhakti introduction. So here also it is not clear that the same is the same Patanjali who wrote Yogasutra. Yes, all these Patanjalis have some contribution to the field of yoga. Now an analysis. It is to be noted that nowhere it is clearly mentioned that the writer of Yogasutra is the same person who wrote Mahabhasya and Charaka Samhita. Then second, Patanjali, writer of Mahabhasya, might have done some work on yoga, which may be different from Yogasutra. Number 3, no strong proof is there to establish the theory that the writer of Yogasutra, writer of Mahabhasya and the writer of Charaka Samhita are one person and he is known as Patanjali. The 3 works, Yogasutra, Mahabhasya and Charaka Samhita, were written in different centuries. Did Patanjali live for centuries? Even if he lived, being a yogi, he can live for centuries. There is no problem about it. Why did he wait for centuries to write the second book after finishing the first? Because the time of Yogasutra is much later than time of Mahabhasya. Much earlier than the time of Mahabhasya. These are some strong objections against the theory that Patanjali wrote the 3 works, the Yogasutra, the Mahabhasya and Charaka Samhita. Now Patanjali's personal life. An authentic, systematic and formal history of Patanjali's personal life is absent. Patanjali, the writer of Yogasutra, he has not written anything about his personal life in his book. But we find some references elsewhere. Patanjali's original name was Jaya. All names of Sesanaga are used as his names, as the name of Patanjali. It is written by Kedarnath Shastri, Sankhya Yoga Kosa, Bhumika. Now his father's name was Vijaya. This is also written by Kedarnath Shastri, Sankhya Yoga Kosa. Now his mother's name is Jaya. This is also written by Kedarnath Shastri, Sankhya Yoga, in his Sankhya Yoga Kosa. Then there is another view, Gonika. Mother is known as Gonika. Here it is written in Patanjali Charitam. But here there is no mention of his father's name. But clearly the name Gonika we find is the mother of Patanjali. Now his guru is Katyayana, the great grammarian. But it is to be noted that the guru Katyayana is the guru of Patanjali, the writer of Mahabhasya. The birthplace of Patanjali, as we find, is Kashmir or Gonarda, which is known as Gonda. But this is also, the reference is found in Mahabhasya and it is related to the Patanjali of Mahabhasya. These are according to mentions found in Mahabhasya, these 2, Guru and birthplace. But Patanjali of Yogasutra may not have anything to do with it. It is all about writer of Mahabhasya. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this lecture. If you have any question, you may write in the comment box. I shall be happy to answer your questions. Thank you again.